Okay, this week in math, what we're going to do is there's going to be two steps. For the first part of the week, we're going to focus on number patterns. And for the second part of the week, we're going to focus on symmetry, okay? And also utilise some of our digital skills in the symmetry activities. And hopefully you can enjoy them because a couple of them I was playing around with and I reckon they're pretty fun. Now, in terms of number patterns, we're just going to reinforce our addition and subtraction because that's what we're working on at the moment. And sometimes we need to be able to identify what the pattern is and what's actually happening, okay? So you've got to go, okay, what did this number start with? What did it get to? And what's going to be the next one in the pattern, okay? So as an example, as a nice basic easy one, we're going to go to 2, 4, 6, 8, and then we'll pretend there's mystery and mystery. Okay, so when we look at that, we go, okay, what's happening from this number to this number, then this number to this number, then this number to this number. Okay, now the easiest way to do that is in your head. Okay, so this was plus 2. Okay, this was plus 2 as well. That was also plus 2. Okay, so if all three of those have been plus 2, that means the next numbers in the pattern also have to be plus 2. So then 8 plus 2 is 10, and 10 plus 2 is 12. Okay, now that's the number patterns at its basic, so we sort of work out what's happening there. Now sometimes a number patterns can be a little bit more complex, okay, because it is just more than one thing happening. All right, so sometimes we can have, say, 3, 7, and we can have, say, 6, and then we'll have 10, and we'll have 9, and then we'll have our things. Now, in all the number patterns that you ever get, there will always be an identifiable pattern. Okay, so we just got to have a look at it. So, we have a look at the numbers that we've got, and there's enough numbers there to figure out what our pattern is. So we have a look from there to there. Okay, what is it? Well, that's plus 4. From that one to that one, well, let's take away 1. From there to there, well, that's plus 4 again. And from there to there, take away 1. Now, can we see a bit of a pattern forming there? Yep. So we've got plus 4, take 1. Plus 4, take 1. So what we need to do is we need to replicate that pattern. So we need to plus 4 to that. So that's 13. And then we need to take away 1, which is 12. Okay. Now that's what the pattern is. Now, where some people get confused in the number patterns is they think they know what it is, but then it doesn't quite match up for the rest of it. Okay, so I'll try some of the harder ones. For example, now we're not going to do many of these, but this is where people could fall apart. So we can go, say 2, 4, 8, 16. Okay. So people have a look at that and go, oh, it's an easy one, it's sort of similar to the one up there. Because they'll go, oh, that's plus 2, plus 4, plus 8. You go, oh. But there's no real pattern there because we don't know when that pattern is going to end. The only way that we know when a pattern ends is when we see it go full circle. Okay, so up here, we never actually saw it differ. It was just plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. Here, plus 4, take 1. Plus 4, take 1. That was the cycle. The plus 4 and take away 1. Whereas this here, it doesn't appear to have any cycle. So some people will go, oh, well, that added 2, that added 4 to that, so I'm just going to add another 4, so we'll say plus 12. But that's just you making up your own pattern. All right? Because there is no identifiable pattern there that we can sort of see. So what you've got to do, you go, okay, what is there that we could possibly see? So then we have a bit of another look and we go, oh, well, I suppose if I times that by 2, I get to 4. Okay, so times by 2. If I times the 4 by 2, I get to 8. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Well, if I times the 8 by 2, I get to 16. Okay, so now we actually see our pattern because it doesn't change, and there's our pattern there. So our next two numbers would be 32 and 64. So when we're doing our work on patterns, you've got to make sure that you clearly see that there's a cycle. So here, it's pretty easy because it's only a one-step process. You may have a two-step process, and you've got to see the cycle. So there's a 4, take 1, 4, take 1, 4, take 1. It starts at something and it ends at something, and then it begins again. It's like a loop. That is the way that we find our patterns. We've got to identify what that loop is. All right, so that's what we're doing. There'll be some pattern ones there, so that'll be for the first half of the week. For the second half of the week, we're going to be looking at some symmetry. Okay. Now, both of these tasks, obviously the videos will be on there, how to do it. I'm not going to put the symmetry videos up until Wednesday, okay, so to confuse people of what they need to be doing. So the first couple of days will be on number patterns, and then you'll have the videos for that. Then, on the actual task, up the top, all I'll do is add the symmetry videos, and I'll actually put in the resources that you're going to need to do the symmetry, because we're going to need to do them on the worksheets. But once again, I'll show you a video how we do that. So if you have actually been awesome and had a look at the Japanese videos, that is what we're doing with our symmetry this week. We're painting and we're using our pens and stuff. So symmetry, what symmetry means is basically if we fold pieces of paper over, that what's on one side is the exact identical on the other. Okay, now, a lot of people do get a bit confused. So we're going to start with a square. All right, a simple one. Now we've got to pretend that if we can fold, that what I fold on one side is going to be looking exactly the same on the other. Okay, so I'm going to pretend I've got a print, and I fold it over and it looks exactly the same. So we have a look at it. Okay, now as I said, this looks a bit more like a rectangle, but we'll pretend it's a square. So all the sides are all equal. Now what happens is if I fold it this way. So there's my fold. Okay. Now if I fold it over, will that be exactly the same? Yeah, that will. So that is one line of symmetry. Okay. Well, there might be some more because there's usually more than one sometimes. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, if I do that, will that side be exactly the same as that side? Yeah. Alright, so we've got two lines. Now, as I said, this is a square, so I might make it actually look a bit more like a square so you actually believe me. So, there you go, that's a bit better. Now, in a square, if I fold it across like that, okay, and we know doing stuff like that because we love doing origami. So through origami we know that. So if I fold that in that way, this side here will be able to touch that and it will form a perfect right angle. So that means if this is a line of symmetry, then this would be also. Okay? Because if I fold in that line, I fold it across, then it's going to be exactly the same on the other side as well. Alright, so that's what lines of symmetry are. And now we have a look, how many lines of symmetry are there? So I've got my one line here, I've got two lines, I've got my third, and I've got four. So we have a look at a square, it's got 4 lines of symmetry. Alright, let's have a look at another shape. Let's have a look at a love heart, because we all love maths. Okay, so I'm going to draw the love heart. Okay, I've drawn my love heart. We're pretending that's an awesome drawing. We're going to go, okay, I'm going to make sure that when I fold my piece of paper over anyway, that I'm going to see exactly the same thing on one side as I do on the other. Okay, so like, we go, oh, well, let's think of what we did to the square. We could do that to the heart. So what happens if I put a line all the way through there? If I fold it over, will it look exactly the same? Well, no, it won't. Because if I fold these two over, I haven't got these two there, have I? So when I fold that over, that's nowhere near. You're going to be so we've got no line of symmetry there. Well, what about if I go straight down the middle? If I fold this side over, go straight over there, will that look the same? Yep, because it'll be like a butterfly. Okay, so that's my one line of symmetry. Will there be any other lines there? What about if I go diagonal? No. Go across? No. So if we look at something like that, that's only going to be one line of symmetry. Okay, because no matter how you chop them up, it's going to be a little bit hard. So that's only got one line. Now the best way to sort of do this, and obviously it's very hard, is obviously get a piece of paper, draw the shape and see how many times you can fold it. But you've just got to try and visualise in your head that on this side is some ink. Okay, that is coloured in with ink. When I fold that over, that's going to look exactly the same ink print on one side as it does on the other. Because if I do that with here, it will. Okay, just to give you another example again. So we've got the square, we've got a line of symmetry there. If I have that inked up and if I fold that over, it's going to make exactly the same shape as it did on this side as it does there. Okay, so that's what we're going to focus on in our second part of the week, is symmetry. And what we're going to be doing is drawing lines through the shapes where we think that there is a symmetrical line. Okay, remembering you've got to put some ink on it, fold it over, and if it's going to look exactly the same, well then that's a line of symmetry. If it's not going to look exactly the same, well then it's not a line of symmetry. And some shapes, so for example, we have a look at the square, that's got 4. The heart, that's only got 1. Now there is a bit of a trick to it. I'll be interested to see whether people actually figure it out. So, doesn't work all the time, but how many sides has a square got? 4. How many lines of symmetry? 4. Now, I'm telling you right now, it does not work like that for every single shape. So you've got to try and figure out whether it does or whether it doesn't. Imagine, ink, fold it over. Did it leave the same impression? No, it didn't. And then do that. So that's going to be our task on the second half of the week, where we actually draw lines on shapes for symmetry. Okay, and then we're also going to do a bit of a fun colouring in activity where we do lines of symmetry, where we follow some instructions, and then we have a look at the symmetry, and then we replicate it over the other side, pretending that it's like an ink pad. Okay, but there'll be another video on that, obviously, after. So that's our math learning for the week. We've got number patterns at the start of the week. Really remembering that you've got to find basically a loop. If you can't find a loop, that means you haven't got the pattern right. Okay? You've got to find something that's repetition, that it's repeating. Not just something, oh, I'll just make some random ones up. So you've got to find some repeating ones in there. And then we're looking at lines of symmetry. Okay? Can we fold a piece of paper over and it makes the same impression on one side as it does on the other? So hopefully you enjoy your week of math this week.